Hello and good morning. You are back with the crew. No, we are not live. This is recorded. However, it is a fine Saturday morning where you live. Maybe not where you live. Anyway, today, as you saw in the title, I want to talk about the significance of my two favorite coins and why you might want to own one and not the other, or both. This is really important to me. It's very difficult to explain to somebody who's a Bitcoin maxi how important XRP is. Sorry about the roosters. I'm really close to the chicken coop, and yeah, it's what you get in the real world, I guess. It's really difficult to explain to Bitcoin people. They think, oh, well, I've got the magic bean. I don't need any other coin. It's like, well, yeah, but transactions, the future of transactions are only going to get faster and more incredible, and we're going to need something like the XRPL. We just are. It's open source. I don't know why you fear it. Why do you hate it? It's $2 for $1. You know, wake up, do some homework, look around, look at what the ISO is all about, look at what this T+1, all of these things are headed towards faster, more efficient transactions. And personally, as a Bitcoin holder, I simply don't want that, all that traffic running on what I call digital gold or secured network of value. I just don't want that to happen. I don't want my whole life to be on my Visa card. That doesn't make sense. I want my Visa card to use the funds that are in a different place. I hope that makes sense. Now, one of the things that's happening right now, and why I want to talk about banking in particular and XRP, is one of the big thing that's really difficult to get across in a video always for me is the concepts of where this whole thing is going, because A, we don't know where it's going for sure. I mean, but I've seen so many different things happen and evolve through government agencies and whatnot through my lifetime that I kind of get where this one's going. Having said that, money is dead. It's dying in its current form. It must come up with a brand new shiny packaging. This is going to take years, in my opinion. We could have a massive collapse and then it wouldn't take years, obviously. However, that new packaging has to come in certain ways produced to the public. Well, when we look at Basel and when we look at the central banking system and when we look at what they purchased, what did they purchase? They purchased Bitcoin. They purchased Ethereum. They purchased XRP. They purchased Litecoin. They purchased Bitcoin Cash. They Algorand. If you look at what they purchased, okay, I did a video 2 years ago about the 5 coins in which I've been told by people who are much higher ranking than anybody else I know, and they've told me the same thing, and then I've heard the same thing from this guy, and then that guy, and then that guy, and all 5 of those coins happen to be purchased by the central bankers. It just came out this week, and in fact, there was 2 or 3 banks that didn't want to report because they didn't want to admit how much Bitcoin they had, from what I hear, or XRP, how much XRP they had. When you look at that, we're not talking about ETFs now. We're talking about they own the asset. Now, why would central bankers want to buy this? And why are they buying this faster than gold? And I know all the gold bugs right now are going rolling their eyes, but the bottom line is they're buying Bitcoin faster than they're buying gold. Why? Because they already have gold. They already have tons of gold. They already have a lot of gold. And why would they exchange digits that they create from thin air, okay, that they want all of us to believe as being whole and real and this perfect package the way it is? Why would they want to convert those into the coins in which I just mentioned? Why are people buying Litecoin all over the world at astronomical levels. I know the retail price isn't going up, but just look it up, guys. It's insane how many Litecoin are being purchased right now. That's not Joe Johnny on the street. You don't even own any of it. Central banks are owning it. And now let's get into the central bank difference between central bank and, let's say, I don't know, B of A or somebody like that. The difference is one's a corporation. The other one is part of Basel. The other one's part of the BIS, and it's part of the central banking system. And their way of ruling, if you will, through digits and monetary systems is completely different. One is more localized, and the other one's from the top down. One of the things when people tell you about what the word institution, okay? The word institution or agency, all of these are slang words for, are you a corporation or are you not? If you're a corporation, you buy ETFs. ETFs were created by a corporation. Basel, okay, or BIS is not a corporation. These are sovereign nation states, banks in this case, central banks in this case, and they understand the privilege that comes with being your own sovereign bank, nation, state. Corporations, like you, believe it or not, you are a corporation. I know that's a whole nother video, but you are a corporation. But the way you can become different or set yourself aside and your family and friends is you own the real coin. This is just one level of this, but I want you to get this concept. The fact that you own an XRP coin and they own an XRP coin, yet B of A and everybody else, all these institutions, right, corporations are going to buy the ETFs because the ETFs were created by corporations and they weren't created by sovereign nation. They were created by ETF corporations. In fact, they were created by BlackRock. BlackRock pushed it. Why did BlackRock push it? There's a little computer system, massive, in the trading world known as Aladdin. Many people have done great work on it. I love what Melissa had to say about it. It was taken somewhat in a negative light in that Aladdin computer changes a lot of people's trading techniques and styles. I get that. I understand that. But one of the things you are privy to is that Aladdin basically told BlackRock that ESG was dead. It for the longest time, Aladdin was telling it, you should get into ESG, you should get into ESG, because this isn't Larry sitting around with a cigar and a scotch deciding what they're going to do with BlackRock. They're following Aladdin because Aladdin is the best trading platform that they've ever had. Its predictive values are insane, right? For investments, right? In a digital frame. In my opinion, the psychology or consciousness of man is 10 times more valuable and 10 times more powerful and more accurate, in my opinion. Okay. Their opinion is Aladdin was the one that called this. So why did Larry just stop, or BlackRock, I should say, stop in their tracks and get out of ESG? In fact, came out publicly negatively against it. Because Aladdin kept giving them digits saying this isn't the future, this isn't where the public are going, this is not what's happening, consciousness of man doesn't want that, that's not what the market share is, you need to get out of this is not going over well. This narrative in which they were pushing forward isn't working. It was losing momentum, right? So what did Aladdin start saying? You need to get into crypto. So it started down the road of you better own Bitcoin. Now let's get back to Bitcoin. Why do you want to own Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin is more scarce and it's not going to go up proportionately as fast as XRP possibly. I don't know that, but I am guessing, right? Logic would tell you that XRP would double before Bitcoin, but I will tell you that the last year that has not been the case, correct? That has not been the case. However, you really need to own both coins. You don't have to own both coins. I don't really care what you own. I really don't. I don't give financial advice. I own a few coins, a bunch of coins. In fact, the 5 that I just mentioned might be on my list or may not. Why? Because sovereign central bankers are owning these. They own them. They don't own the ETF. Remember that. They own the coin. Very important for the future of your family. Now let's get back to the sovereign nation. Why does somebody who considers themselves above a corporation want to own such thing? Well, if you know anything about tax law and maritime law, and this is not the video for that, you know that you are a person. You have God-given rights on this planet. You are not a corporation, yet you are looked upon by your governments as corporations. I can't get into too much detail about that. That's stuff that I studied 20 years ago, and I don't want to really make this show or this channel about that. But what I'm trying to say is, do what they do, not what they tell you to do. Don't buy the ETFs. This is my opinion. If you want to buy the ETFs, and by the way, yes, the ETFs are going to be great for XRP. It's going to be great for Ethereum. It's going to be great for all that because of public exposure. It's going to create FOMO, and there's going to be more people wanting to get into those coins because those coins are going to be deemed as better coins than the other coins because they have an ETF, and the other 2 million coins don't, right? So that's going to be key to your future with these coins. That's going to be key information to share and spread between each other. There's not just a mathematical reason of you owning it or a physical reason of you owning the coin in your wallet or in your own possession. It's bigger than that. It's who you are. Are you a corporation or a sovereign individual? Enough about that. Where we're going in this market right now is victory. You've won. We've beat the people. We've beat the people because the system, all right, is top heavy. It's brick and mortar. It needs individuals. It needs fuel. It needs electricity. It has spoilage. When you build things, it goes out of trend. It goes out of style. It has a code date. It spoils. All of those things are not associated with crypto. None of those things matter to crypto. Crypto doesn't need to be inflated or deflated. It's or leveraged. Crypto just needs to be crypto and be crypto. That's where you come in. All you need to do is own crypto and be crypto. That's it. That's your investment strategy for the rest of your life. The biggest decisions financially that you need to make is how many dollars am I going to take out of fiat and put them into hard asset crypto? You can buy gold if you want, okay, or silver or property or whatever it is. But the property is not going to accelerate, one man's opinion, not going to accelerate as fast as something that doesn't have any care to it. Let's remember, property needs management. It needs a paint job. It needs new windows. It needs doors. It needs upgrading. It needs updating. It needs all of these things. It taxes you for the possession or ownership of it. All of those things aren't applicable to crypto. Crypto is your opportunity to have very little and to stay ahead of inflation. Massive banking institutions are buying crypto. That's not maybe anymore. Financial institutions. All you need to do is look at that. I think it was the 12th largest pharmaceutical company in the world. Okay, declared, this is what they declared. We're going to use our profits and purchase a big percentage, sorry, I don't remember the percentage, of their profits going into Bitcoin, a pharmaceutical company. That's what they announced. The effect was, I believe it was 32%. They were up the first day in stock, and the following day was 18%. The only thing they said was, Instead of carrying cash, fiat, we're going to buy Bitcoin. And the reason why they're buying Bitcoin is because there's a lot of XRP still out there. There's a lot of Ethereum still out there. And there's a lot of XLM still out there. They don't need to, it's not becoming near as scarce. On a corporate and governmental level, the scarcity frightens these nations and these corporations and these sovereign banks. You understand? They're afraid of something so infinite, non-infinite. It's got them in a panic, right? And the panic buying is happening. It's not being reflected because of the futures market in the price of our coins. Not much longer are they going to be able to pull that. I don't know. They're pretty good at that kind of stuff, so who knows how long. But this bull is running and raging, and it's starting from the top down. Now, the day two of that stock, 18% up. So what is that, over 40%, or right around 40%, right? Think about that. All they did was say, we're going to take some of our fiat and put it into Bitcoin. You don't need a PhD to pull that off. And you don't need a PhD to be a CEO of any other company, corporation, and go, wow, MicroStrategy did that. This guy did it. I'm looking for a kick. My company makes a lot of money, only our stock is just dead in the water. What are they going to do? What do we got? Well, let's come out with a new, did that pharmaceutical company cure cancer? Did it come out and do anything relevant to the world? No, it didn't. It just simply said, I'm going to hold a hard asset. It didn't say it was going to buy gold, did it? How many corporations own gold? That number's just been exposed lately too. Not many. They're buying Bitcoin. That's what they're buying right now because of the scarcity momentum. They're seeing that, hey, we better get into this thing or we're never going to hold coins. It seems like that's the way it's going to go to them. So if you're a CEO of another company and you're saying, well, wait a minute, how do I'm going to retire at the end of the year. How am I going to bump my stock shares? How am I going to inflate my stocks? How could I could use a 40% return on my shares right now. Wouldn't that be great right before I retire? Or look at how dead in the water. We've been a flat line. Most of these are zombie companies. All you need to do is look at the S&P 500, and there's only a few that make any money. The rest of them are dead in the water. Now, NASDAQ's a little different story. But the rest of these companies, they earn a lot of cash. But what good is cash? We just went over that. Sure, right now you're getting a little bit more money, interest on your money, but you're not getting much. You're not keeping up with inflation. You're losing money for your shareholders annually. Michael Saylor figured this out years ago, and he's pulling it off, and he's nailing it. Just look into that company, and it's just crazy. Every other company, I think he did, I want to say in the last 2 years, 1,500 lectures to CEOs of corporations. And all of those corporations, I'm guessing, are the ones of the 2000 all the way up until March that bought ETFs through BlackRock and others. Just think about it. All they got to do is put Bitcoin on their books and then eventually put Ethereum on their books and then put XRP on their books. And that's all they have to do for a stock increase. Who isn't going to do that? Why wouldn't they do that? And the bigger question is, why do you care what they do? What are you doing? Are you putting more and more aside every month, every 6 months? Are you putting more into it? Because fiat's doing what for you? That's right, you're losing money at fiat. We all know that. I didn't even talk about the 5 things I wanted to talk about, but shoot, what am I doing out here all day? I just missed the dogs too. I don't know where they went. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys got something from that. I hope this makes sense. From a top-down level, when I talk about the top 10 coins, I'm not talking about my favorite coins. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in volume, in numbers. Who are the big players? Doesn't mean I own them all. Doesn't mean those are my favorite coins. I don't believe in those favorite projects. And a lot of my favorite projects, I think, can change mankind in different ways than those coins can. However, central bankers see it differently. And right now we have to play their game. Maybe not forever, but for a bit yet. All right, guys, with that, I hope you guys like that. If you like this kind of content, you don't have to, but consider subscribing and giving a like. Love you guys. Be out. Okay, so who knew that chicken farms and livestock processing plants were so damn flammable? I mean, are you out of your mind? Have you heard? I just heard 20, we averaged 20 plants a year in the last 3 years. Ever since they brought that cricket thing out. I don't know. It's just like they just burst into flame. It's just like the craziest thing. And yet nobody's even, like, I don't know, what we have, 10 fires in the last 100 years? And then all of a sudden we have 60, 20. We're averaging 20 a year. Nobody seems to be even concerned about it. Huh. Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? It's no big deal, right? Yeah. Crickets.